Ellen, have you finished packing up your things yet? I don't want to rush you, but time is of the essence. It doesn't seem like you've been making any progress at all. I'm getting worried you won't be finished in time.
Huh? Packing up my things? What are you talking about? Are we going on vacation or something? I don't remember talking about that.
Oh, you can't be serious. May's moving back in so I can help take care of her after the baby is born. So obviously you're going to have to move out. I thought we were on the same page.
Wait, what? May's moving back in? This is the first I've ever heard of this. You never said anything to me.
Oh, come now, dear. There's no way you weren't aware. I told my son to tell you about it myself, so I don't want to hear any of your excuses. Unless, are you telling me that Nate didn't talk to you?
No, Mom. He hasn't said a single thing to me. I told you, this is the first time hearing of this. So please tell me what's going on. I did hear that May was pregnant. I knew that much. But now you're telling me she's moving in?
I don't believe it. You mean you really didn't know? Oh, Nate told me that he talked to you about it and you were fine with it. He told me he would handle everything, so I thought everything was in order.
How could I possibly be fine with something I knew nothing about? How long has this been in the works? When did this conversation happen?
Well, let me think. The first time May mentioned she wanted to move back in was, I believe, around a month ago or so. She said the doctor told her she was at a heightened risk for premature labor. So she wanted to move in here so that I could help her relax up until the birth. Her husband is always quite busy with work, and his parents live quite a ways away. So when I talked to Nate about it, he said he would talk to you. And it wasn't but a few hours after that he told me you two had a conversation and that you said you were fine with it. Oh, I'm sorry, dear. I had no idea you weren't aware. I feel terrible now.
She gave you 1 month's notice for wanting to move in with us? Jeez. This is not the kind of thing you can just drop on somebody with only a month's notice. Isn't there anywhere else she could go but here?
I understand that she tried, but there was nowhere else that she could stay. Believe me, this is all very sudden for me as well.
Well, yeah, I suppose it's going to be quite an imposition on you, too. But wait, you're telling me that we're the ones who need to be packing up our things? Do you mean she's going to be staying on our side of the duplex? Why wouldn't she be staying in yours? There would be more empty space over there.
Well, no, she'll be spending most of the time over here with me. But she says that she wants you and Nate to move out of your unit while she's here.
What?
Oh, just until the baby's born and she recovers from the birth. She said it would be for the best if you two could rent an apartment or a condo somewhere for a while. Not forever, again, just until things settle down.
Are you being serious right now? What in the world? She really said that? Why on earth would we have to move out of our own house?
I'd say May would feel bad about imposing on you if you were around the house. She wouldn't want you to feel like you had to wait on her. And having an energetic 2-year-old around a new mother could be, well, somewhat stressful. Stress isn't good for a pregnant woman, you know. It's hard on the baby as well.
That's her reason? That's why she wants us to move out of our own house? What, does she think it'll be easy on us to have to make a sudden move like this with a 2-year-old? That's insane. And what does she mean until things settle down? That's an incredibly vague period of time. Are we talking a few months, a year, or even more? Who's going to take care of the house in that time? Who's going to pay for utilities, the mortgage? Not to mention she's kicking us out of our own home, so who's going to pay for our moving expenses?
Well, as for the housework, I talked to Nate about that. He said you would be able to stop by a few times a week and take care of everything. He also told me that you would be willing to drive May to the hospital and back for her pre- and postnatal checkups.
Are you kidding me?
And for financial matters, he said it would be a sort of early baby shower gift for her. He said that the two of you would cover all the expenses, both for yourselves and May. I'm sorry, dear, but Nate told me that you had discussed all of this and that you were just as enthusiastic about it as he was.
I'm going to have a little talk with him later on, but for the time being, let me just tell you this much. May is not going to be able to move into our house. We have a 2-year-old child. We can't just move on a whim like this, and I can't be taking care of the housework for 2 households. It's simply delusional to think a scheme like that would ever work out in reality. Not to mention, I have a job to do myself. I'm sorry, but this just isn't going to work. You'll have to tell May that she needs to find another arrangement.
What? I can't tell her no, not at this point in time. She's going to move in this weekend.
This weekend? That's only 5 days from now.
Well, yes, I know. That's why I asked you if you had made the necessary preparations for the move a little bit ago. Helen, I'm sure you can find some way to make this work, can't you? After all, we've already told May that she can come. She's made her own preparations too. We can't just make her up and change plans at this point.
I'm sure it'll be difficult for her, but I'm just looking at reality here. This is just not going to work. It can't happen. Anyway, like I said, I was not in the loop for any of this information. I'm going to have a talk with Nate now. He has a lot of explaining to do. Nate, we need to have a talk now. I just heard from your mom that May is going to be moving into our house this weekend. Would you mind telling me more? And by more, I mean anything? Seeing as how you never told me about this in the first place.
Oops. Sorry, babe. I guess I forgot to run that by you.
You forgot? You forgot? You forgot that she's moving into our house in just 5 days? You forgot about this little minor detail for an entire month? You forgot that we have to find a new place to live for the entire time she's living here? You forgot that you promised my services as a housekeeper and chauffeur to her for that entire time? You forgot to tell me all about that?
Look, I said I was sorry, but I've been meaning to talk to you about it, I really have. But I just felt like if I asked you about it, that you'd say no for sure.
Of course I would say no to that nonsense. What was your plan here? What were you going to do if your mom just didn't drop that bomb on me a little while ago? Were you just going to have May show up at the door and be like, "Oh, by the way..."
Come on, don't treat me like I'm a total idiot. I obviously made preparations for us to leave the house. I was going to talk to you within the next few days, maybe even today or tomorrow. I just forgot, that's all. What, have you never forgotten anything?
Don't pretend like being ready or not is the issue. The issue is that you went and made all of these insane promises behind my back. Why does May have no other choice than to move into our house to take care of the baby? Why can't she go anywhere else? This is our house. She has her own house.
Well, that's because Mum's going to be helping her out while she recovers from the birth. Since Mum lives in the other part of our duplex, that means May has to come here, obviously. Mum sold her old house when she moved in with us, so she can't go there.
I am aware of the fact that your mom sold her old house and moved in with us when your dad died. I get it. She's getting up there in years and she's insecure living completely on her own. I get that. She's not in bad enough health to require round-the-clock care like in a nursing home, so it makes sense for her to live close to us like this. I understand that and agreed to it when we moved into this duplex. But once again, Nate, that's not the issue here. The issue is May moving in here. Please, for the love of God, will you explain to me why she has to move in here?
What do you want, Helen? Do you want May to have to deal with giving birth and taking care of her baby all by herself? Oh, don't forget you stayed with your parents when you gave birth. You think you deserve that, but May doesn't? You think you're special or something? Try putting yourself in her shoes.
First of all, you are comparing apples to oranges. The circumstances are completely different. But let's just say for a moment that I was in the same position May is in now. If my parents had sold their house and moved in with my brother and his wife, then unless there was some sort of insanely unlikely extenuating circumstance, I would simply take care of myself and have my husband do whatever I needed in order to make things work. But apparently May hasn't even thought about that possibility. And then her reasoning, are you kidding me? She thinks having other people in the house would be stressful for her? Why do we have to allow ourselves to get kicked out of our own house? Why do I have to give up my lifestyle to cater to May's selfish whims? Don't even get me started on having to do the housework and take her to her checkups. Doesn't all of that seem just a little bit, I don't know, ridiculous to you, Nate?
Hey, don't talk about May like she's some kind of squatter swooping in and stealing our house. She has a lot on her mind right now. The doctor even told her she's at risk of going into labour prematurely. All she wants is to be close to Mum, so Mum can take care of her. You're a mother yourself, Helen. You understand exactly how hard on a woman's body childbirth is. So come on, you can help her out with the housework, can't you? That won't be too much of a burden. And hey, you can think of this as a good chance for you and May to finally develop a positive relationship. What do you say, Helen? Think you can make a teensy little sacrifice for me?
A chance to become besties with May? A teensy little sacrifice?
Well, yeah. I mean, you've never even spoken to each other. After that big blow-up you two had all the way back when, right? That puts me in a really difficult position, Helen. I'm torn between my sister and my wife. Maybe the two of you can bond over mummy stuff. You know, like changing nappies and other mummy stuff.
What is the matter with you? I cannot believe what I'm reading right now. You call what happened a blow-up? Do you remember what that woman did to me? You introduced me to your family for the first time, and she immediately started insulting me in every possible way she could think of. She threw hot coffee on me, kicked me under the table, and pushed me out the door when I left. And then, after we sent out the wedding invites, you remember that, right? She started calling all the invitees and lied to them that the date had been changed. Then she came to the wedding plastered drunk and tried to throw a bottle of wine at me. After we got married, she used the key we left with your parents to break into our house and steal our stuff. Don't tell me you forgot the time she almost got away with selling my mother's heirloom diamond necklace to a pawn shop. If your dad hadn't driven by just in time to put a stop to the deal, I would have lost it forever. Oh, and then there's the time she tried to dump me in the middle of nowhere while I was pregnant with our son. Wasn't that an adorable little prank? She told me that your mom had been in an accident and we needed to rush to the scene and help her, then tried to kick me out of the car on the side of the highway. If that cop hadn't seen the scene and asked what was going on, we might have lost our son, Nate. But it didn't stop there. Remember when she came to the hospital after the birth? Remember the things she said to our son? "Wow, you look just like your mother. Ugly as hell, you poor thing." Those were her words, right? After that, I'd had enough of her. I told her exactly how I felt and that I didn't want to see her ever again. And you call that a blow-up? It was a long, continuous stream of unilateral verbal and physical abuse. I seem to remember you being pretty angry back then. Did you forget about that too?
No, I definitely remember that. No, I told her that she's been totally out of line, because she was being out of line. She's going through a really difficult time back then, though. I mean, you're a woman too. You know, women have their phases, right? Look at her now. She's married and she's having a baby. She's a totally different person. She's really turned her life around. I bet she feels really bad for everything she did back then.
If she really felt bad, I think a better way to show it would be to come and tell me that she was sorry to my face. Rather than, kicking me out of my own house and demanding I be her maid. So no, Nate, I don't think she's changed at all. Not in the slightest.
Oh, come on, Helen. She's my sister.
Sister or not, I'm putting my foot down. She is not moving in here. I never want to see her again for as long as I live. Call her up right now and tell her the plan has changed and she's not moving in.
Helen, you know I can't do that. Not this late in the game. She's been operating under the assumption that you'd be taking care of her for a month now. I can't cancel on her at the last minute.
Nate, this is all your fault. Take responsibility. You volunteered my services without even asking me. That's the worst part of this, for me. I don't care how hard it might be to cancel on her. Do it. Do it right now.
Helen, please, don't be so cold to my sister. She's family, and family has to take care of each other. May's already gotten everything ready to move here this weekend. I already signed a lease for a nice little apartment that's not too far away from here.
Oh my God, you did?
Of course I did. Need to move in 5 days. It's only going to be a year and some change. How bad could it be? If you want, I'll make May apologise to you for all that stuff she did. Okay, we're going to be together for a while, so let's try to get along. I'll give you the address for our apartment in a bit. Can you arrange for our stuff to be delivered there? There's not much time left, so do it right away. Okay? Gotta get back to work. Talk to you later. Thanks, Helen.
Hey there, ugly bitch. Long time no see. My stuff's gonna get there today, so make sure you get it all organized. Oh, and make sure the house is clean. Like, super clean. You're a sloppy homemaker, and I don't want to get any weird infection from you. So, disinfect everything in the house. Got it? Hello there, May. I see you haven't changed one bit over the last few years. Nate's the one who'll be cleaning your room, not me. So if you have any special requests, tell him. What? Oh my God, I feel so sorry for my brother. He's stuck with a lazy loser like you for a wife. Why didn't he divorce you? Like, seriously. I mean, here I am, your husband's own sister, coming over to your house, and this is the way you're gonna talk to me? Forget divorce. If I were Nate, I'd hire a hitman.
Yep, you haven't changed a bit.
Ugh, that sour attitude of yours is exactly why I didn't want that little brat around me. Any kid raised by you is 100% gonna be a total monster. Just the sight of you would raise my stress levels higher than I could stand. Make sure there aren't any family pictures up or anything. Oh, and I told Mom and Nate to make this clear to you, but just in case, you need to wear a mask when you come here to clean. I don't care about the flu or anything, I just don't want to see your face. Get in, get the chores done, and get the hell out. Oh, and that rule also applies for when you're taking me to the doctor. I don't want anyone to know I'm associating with someone as ugly as you.
As you wish. I'm leaving just like you wanted. My sons and my things have already been taken out of the house. You can make yourself at home.
That's a good, obedient girl. Looks like you finally understand where you rank around here. God, how pathetic can you get? No matter what I do or say to you, Mom and Nate may put up a facade of outrage, but in the end, they're both on my side. I win, you lose. I get everything, you get nothing. I get this sweet house, you get some cramped apartment. Oh, and I bet Mom and Nate told you it was gonna just be for a year or so, right? Yeah, about that. I think I might stick around a little longer, like, I don't know, forever. After all, it's my mom's house, and that means it's my house. Anyway, enjoy life in your crappy little apartment. I can't wait to stretch out my legs and relax on that big sofa you bought. This is what you get for not divorcing my brother when you had the chance, you dumb bitch.
Oh yeah, you got me. You got me real good. Is that all you wanted to say to me? I'm actually pretty busy with moving over here, so if you're done, I'll be getting back to work now. Bye, May.
Aw, look at you, trying to put on a brave face and pretend like I haven't completely destroyed you. You're not fooling anyone.
Helen, where are you? Answer your phone already. What are you doing right now? You need to call me as soon as you see this.
What do you want? I don't want to hear your voice right now. If you need something, just text me.
Helen, why are you talking to me like that? But more importantly, where are you? The door's locked and my key doesn't work. You need to get over here fast.
Sorry, no can do. I'm at my parents' house with our son. I'm going to be staying over here for the foreseeable future. Probably at least a year or so.
What? Wait, what?
My dad hurt his back the other day, you see. He's going to need help around the house and also with getting to and from the hospital for his checkups. He's too heavy for my mom to pick him up by herself, so she needs me here to look after him with her. So I'll just keep going to work like normal while staying here overnight.
What's wrong with you, Helen? How can you do that without saying anything to me first?
You know, Nate, I meant to tell you. Really, I did. But I forgot. I mean, I just knew that if I asked you about it, you'd say no, so I never got around to it. Oops.
What? Are you mocking me? Oh, that's beside the point right now. Why isn't my key working?
What, did you think I was going to leave home without locking the door behind me? I have to be a responsible homeowner, Nate. This is kindergarten level stuff. Oh, and about the locks, in a total coincidence, they broke yesterday. I had them replaced. I was going to tell you about that too, but I forgot again. Oops, sorry.
Helen, this is not funny. What's the matter with you? You can't just make these major decisions by yourself like that without asking me first. May is here, ready to move in, but we can't open the door. She was ready to finally get some well-deserved rest and relaxation, but now we have to go back in the car and drive over to the apartment. Why are you doing this, Helen? Explain yourself right now.
What are you complaining about? All I did was follow your family rules.
My family's rules? What?
Yes, your rules. You've made it very clear what your family's rules are over the last several years. According to your family's rules, when one spouse wants to do something that the other spouse will likely object to, you just do it without asking them. Especially if it's for family. Family has to look out for each other, right? And once one spouse makes a decision, the other spouse has to go along with it.
And that's exactly what I just did. I followed your rules to a T. My dad hurt his back and needed help. So I dropped everything and went to help him. I have to help my dear father.
I don't believe this. Really, Helen? Is this all some sort of childish revenge thing for you?
Revenge? Don't be silly. I was just following your rules. Or are you saying you realize what you did was wrong?
What? No, that's not what I'm saying at all.
Uh-huh. You decided that your sister would move in with us. You decided that we would move out of our own house. You decided that I would be the one who had to take care of your sister. And when you finally talked to me about it and I said no, you ignored me. You signed a lease for an apartment. You started getting ready to move. You did all of this on your own accord because your sister needed help. And since you still don't seem to think you did anything wrong, that must mean those are your family's rules, right? So I followed your rules. I moved in with my parents to help them out while my dad recovers.
Oh, come on. You're being way too hyperbolic about everything. After all, it might have been a little late, sure, but I did talk to you about everything, right?
A little late is doing a lot of work in that sentence. But in any case, while you may have talked to me 5 days before she came, I never once agreed. And as for me, I told May that I would leave. However, I didn't say one single solitary thing to her about taking care of her. I have no obligation to do something that I never agreed to. But honestly, I'd say this is actually for everyone's benefit. May said that just seeing my face sent her stress levels skyrocketing, and I feel the same exact way about May.
Well, why didn't you tell me you felt so strongly about May? If you would have talked to me, we could have found a way to work things out.
I did tell you. Scroll up, Nate. Look at the conversation we had 5 days ago. I told you in detail all about the worst things that she's done to me. I told you, in no unclear terms, that I never wanted to see her again for as long as I live. And what did you have to say in reply? That you think she's turned her life around? Guess what? She texted me 2 days ago, and do you know what words she greeted me with after 2 years of turning her life around? Hey there, ugly bitch. I took a screenshot and sent it to you. You saw it, right?
Yeah, I did. But come on, Helen, give me a break. Can't you give this a chance? Why don't you come by the apartment and we can all talk things out like adults?
Your refusal to talk things out like adults is exactly what got us into this mess. I have been trying for days now to talk things out like adults. But every day this week, you've either had overtime or drinks with your colleagues or some other dumb excuse. And your mom went on a conveniently timed 5-day vacation with her friends. Neither of you have been home for the last 5 days.
Those weren't excuses. I really was busy.
Oh, I have no doubt you were making yourself busy looking for excuses to avoid me. You've had 1 whole month to talk to me since this whole story began. I know what you were thinking, Nate. You were thinking it was only a matter of time. You expected that if you could avoid me for long enough that I'd just agree to everything. And if I said no, you didn't care. All your talk about compromise and little sacrifices, all of that was just a facade. You were just buying time for me to completely give in to you. Seriously, what kind of a pathetic weakling do you think I am? I am sick and tired of you, your sister, your mom. I'm sick of everything. May's had 2 years to grow up, but in all honesty, I think she's become even more of a psycho than she was before.
What you want from me, Helen? I told you I was sorry for not talking to you. Now stop acting like I'm some kind of passive-aggressive, patronising husband. I'm not. That was not my intent at all. Maybe you have a bit of a point. Maybe I was taking advantage of your kindness, sure. But it was never my intent to hurt you, insult you, impose upon you, or anything like that. So, look, I'm sorry for that, for trying to take advantage of you. But seriously? Locking us out of the house? That's taking things way too far. It's not just your house, Helen. It's our house. You, me, and Mum.
I suppose you're right. It isn't just my house. Originally, my grandparents lived in that duplex along with my uncle and aunt. And right now, it's actually still in my mom's name. We were always just borrowing it from her anyway.
Wait.
What's the matter? Did you forget that too? Boy, you sure have a convenient memory, don't you? Back when your mom wanted to move in with us, I was the one who asked my mom for permission. But then you went and invited your sister to come and live there without even asking me for permission. Do you have any idea how angry my parents are right now at both you and your sister? Oh, and that reminds me, I have a message from them for you, your mom, and your sister. We won't sit idly by and let you take advantage of us. Your sister's got her own house, she can live there, and you can live with her. That sounds like a great idea to me. You can all live with May and her husband, and you can do all their housework.
Helen, let's be reasonable now. We're husband and wife. We can't live in separate houses. Are you really going to live over there for a whole year, please? Helen, come home.
I was actually thinking about staying here longer than just a year. A lot longer. Maybe even forever.
No, you can't be serious. You're not going to divorce me, are you?
I've been thinking about it.
I'm sorry. I'm really sorry. I'll tell May she can't stay with us. And I'll make her apologise for everything she's ever done to you. But I'm begging you, please don't divorce me.
Let me ask you a question, Nate. Do you know precisely what I'm angry about right now? If at this point you still don't know what the real issue is, then there's just no hope for you. You say you're going to make May apologize? Great, but this doesn't end there. You're just as guilty as she is. You know that, right?
Yeah, sure I do. I'm very, very aware of how precisely I've hurt you, Helen. And for that precise reason, I'm very, very sorry. I can't express enough how sorry I am for that. So, you gonna come home now?
Nope. It's been so long since my parents have seen their grandson, they look like they're 20 years younger, they're so happy. They went to a lot of effort to get ready for me to stay with them. I couldn't tell them I'm leaving already, it would break their poor hearts. So no, I intend to stay here for 1 year just like I promised. And during that year, I'll decide whether I'm gonna divorce you or not. Got that?
Yeah, I got it. Look, I'm really, really sorry for what I did, Helen. I truly regret doing the precise thing that you're angry about right now. I can't believe I was stupid enough to do a thing like that. I hope you can find it in your generous heart to forgive me for...
Well, if you're really sorry about that, then that's good. You'll have another year to think about exactly how sorry you are for that.
And
one more thing. I'm going to have to teach May a lesson that will teach her not to cross me ever again. You might get caught in the crossfire, just a heads up.
Okay.
Good morning, May. Did your husband stop by to see you? Look, you can hole yourself up in the apartment bathroom all you want, but you're gonna have to come out eventually. This is all your fault, you bitch! Why did you have to go and call my husband? And why the hell do you even know my husband's phone number? You're such an obnoxious old hag. Let's just say that I have a very thorough network of contacts. Friends of friends, you know. I won't tell you how exactly I got the information, but wow, you never cease to amaze me, May. Really, I'm astonished. Imagine my shock when I learned that your husband, drumroll please, has been out of the country for a year on business. It's an immaculate conception. Or is that just the overwhelming power of your husband's masculinity? He impregnated you from across the world? And if you think I was shocked, you should have heard your husband's reaction. I hate you! I hate you! I hate you! It was only a matter of time before he found out you were the talk of the town. After all, you're a married woman, and yet there was a constant string of young men coming and going from your house in the middle of the night. I understand you told your neighbors that you conceived while your husband made a quick trip back home, but, you know, I really don't think they bought it, May. No, I think they all knew what was really going on. Your husband is set to come back home next month, right? Is that why you were so desperate to move in with us? To keep your husband from finding out for as long as possible? Well, unfortunately for you, after my conversation with him, he decided to cut his trip a wee bit short. Oops, sorry about that, May. I hate you, you evil bitch! I'm gonna tell Nate and my mom what you did to me. He's gonna divorce your ass instantly. You're gonna regret this. I'll show you what happens when you piss me off, you ugly old geezer. Oh, well, if that's what you need to do, by all means, go ahead. Getting a divorce wouldn't be a problem for me in the slightest, seeing as I make about twice as much as Nate and I'm the family's primary breadwinner. Didn't you know? My dad's a real estate developer and he handed off a few properties to me so I could learn the ropes. Then once he passes away, I'll inherit the rest of his business. So Nate's the one desperate to avoid a divorce, not me. What? Oh, and speaking of money, there's something I need you to do for me. Give your mom a message from me as soon as you can. Tell her that even in the unlikely event Nate and I end up staying together, she is never, under any circumstances, going to come and live with us again. The second she gets too old to be able to take care of herself, I am tossing her carcass right into a nursing home. Did you write all of that down? I don't believe this! Just when I thought you couldn't stoop any lower, now you're throwing my mom out onto the curb after all she's done for you? I'd say the balance is pretty strongly in my favor. Actually, she begged us to let her move in with us because she was lonely, so we did. I was also paying about $300 to $400 a month for her living expenses. Out of my own paycheck, of course. Nate never paid anything. And how did she repay me? By helping you cover up your affair. She was fully aware that you were moving in with us with the sole intent to hide your love child from your husband. That's a pretty disgusting lie of omission that could have put me in an incredibly awkward position. And now, come to find out, her plan was ultimately to abandon the child completely and force me to take care of him. That's the kind of thing you only see in bad soap operas, but your mother actually came up with that evil plot. When Nate pushed her on it a while back, she spilled the beans on the whole thing. Do you think I would continue to allow such an amoral, vile person as that to live with me and my child? All she's done for you, all she's done to me, is the reason I'm kicking her out. Jeez, now I know where you picked up your evil nature. I guess that makes two traits you both share, evil and stupidity. If only you weren't as dumb as a box of rocks, maybe you might have gotten away with all of that. Don't you mock me like that, you ugly skank! I am gonna get you back for this, Helen. Mark my words, you will regret this. If I may make a bit of a recommendation, what if, instead of dedicating the rest of your life to getting back at me, you spent more time becoming a normal, moral human being? If you had done that sooner, you probably wouldn't have hit the self-destruct button on your life, and right now, you'd be living a happy life with your husband's child instead of... Well, come to think of it, do you even know which boyfriend is the father? Speaking of which, I think your husband might want to talk to you about your escapades while he was away. Good luck. Hope you know a decent lawyer. May's husband dragged her out of the bathroom she had locked herself in shortly after that. They went straight to his lawyer's office, where they reached a settlement for her multiple affairs and were officially divorced. He also sued all the men she slept with, there were a lot of them, and promptly got back to his work overseas. May eventually found out which one of them was the father and went to him for help. She apparently went directly to his parents and told them that she was pregnant with their grandchild and would put him up for adoption if they didn't take her in. Ordinarily, that's the kind of thing that would get you kicked out in an instant, but they were actually thrilled about the prospect of having a grandson. They agreed to pay off her legal debts to her ex-husband, and she moved in with them. May seemed confident she had finally escaped her problems, but then some new ones came into their place. Right after the baby was born, the baby was whisked away by her mother-in-law. She gave her an ultimatum. If she wanted to see her child, she would have to do all the housework and take care of their elderly parents. May then threatened to divorce her new husband, take the baby, and leave, but her in-laws countered with a threat to demand the repayment of the legal bills they paid for her. Checkmate. Her new husband wasn't much of a comfort either. As time went on, he was spending less and less time at home, leaving May completely alone. She calls Nate every once in a while when she wants to complain, but he ignores her calls most of the time now. I don't feel sorry for her at all. After all, this is exactly what she was trying to do to me. As for Nate's mom, she kept on living in the apartment that Nate had rented for us to live in. We're now waiting for the time to come to put her in a nursing home. She tried calling my parents to apologize for what she did and beg them to allow her to live in the duplex again. But when my kill her with kindness strategy worked just a little bit too well, she lost her mind in a fit of rage, ruining any chances at making amends with them. It's just like I told May on that day. She and her mom are two peas in a pod. Now, as for me and Nate, I'm happy to say that Nate finally came to see reason and has become like a brand new man. He gave me and my parents probably the most sincere apology I've ever seen, and promised to be the husband I deserved from now on. He comes by on weekends and days off to spend time with us, and we're starting to build our relationship back up one brick at a time. While I'm doing my best to stay vigilant, I genuinely believe that he's changed. I hope that by the time my stay with my parents ends, we'll be able to be a real family once again. Oh, hey there. Good morning, Monica. Are you going to work in those worn-out old rags that look like a 20-year-old present from your grandma again today, you broke loser?
Hey, Roxanne. I'm pretty sure my clothes fall under office casual, and they're definitely not worn out. Anyway, what do the clothes I choose to wear to work have to do with you? It's not like I'm causing you any problems.
Oh dear, what a shame. I see you still have precisely zero self-awareness. Your very existence is a problem when you go to work looking homeless every day, dear.
How am I a problem?
You walk around the neighborhood dressed like a broke loser, radiating the intolerable stench of poverty. Every time I walk past you, I have to pinch my nose. If I'm not careful, I could become poor like you just by being in your vicinity. It really is time you learn to have a little self-awareness, dear. If you don't get on top of your stench soon, the entire neighborhood will be wearing nose plugs.
I have no idea what makes you think I'm a broke loser who radiates the smell of poverty, but me and my family really don't struggle with money as much as you seem to think we do.
Are you joking? I've seen your house, dear. You're nothing but a broke part-time housewife who lives in a shabby, run-down ground floor apartment in the rough part of town.
Excuse me?
You obviously had no choice but to live there because the rent is dirt cheap and you couldn't afford anywhere more respectable. The place is so beat up, I wouldn't be surprised if the roof leaked every time it rained. You must have to walk around on your tiptoes to avoid the 200-year-old floor creaking.
You seem to be making a bunch of huge misunderstandings here, Roxanne. I don't know why you think I work part-time, but I don't. As for the apartment, it was fully renovated 5 years ago. Nothing in there is 200 years old.
Huh?
It originally belonged to my husband's parents. He inherited it when his dad passed away 5 years back. His mom, who still lives with us now, suffered a fall and hurt her leg not too long afterwards, which ended up with her having to live in a wheelchair. So we had it reformed into a barrier-free, one-story bungalow to make her life there as easy and stress-free as possible. Around the same time, my husband also bought the house next door, which had been vacant for years, then had the connecting wall demolished to almost double the floor space. Even despite all that, buying the house, hiring the builders, paying for the materials, insuring the place, having wheelchair access facilities fitted, we still never struggled for cash.
Wow. Basically, because you went on a foolishly irresponsible spending spree that was well beyond what you could afford, you're now a broke loser groveling around in the depths of soul-crushing poverty and despair.
I guess everyone's definitions for poverty are probably different, but at least from where I'm standing, I don't feel like we're poor.
That's only because you're too poor to have ever known what it's like to possess large amounts of money, my dear. I knew it. Without the sagely advice of someone highly respected, loved, and accomplished like myself, the wife of a CEO, you're not even capable of making even the bare minimum of decisions required to get by in life. You really are the most tragic human being I've ever met.
You'll have to excuse me, but I have work soon, so I'm gonna have to head off.
It's okay, dear. I understand. You'll get fired if you don't do as your boss tells you. I get it. It must really suck to be poor. But, Monica, really, I do at least think you should make the effort not to let your poor coworkers catch wind of the foul stench of your poverty. Everyone will be too grossed out to work and productivity will be down across the board. Oh, that reminds me. Me and the other moms from kindergarten are throwing a New Year's party this Saturday. It'll be held at my apartment. You know, the top floor apartment of the luxury apartment building overlooking the river on 5th Street. But of course, no broke losers will be invited. I can't wait to look down on your pathetic papier-mâché cockroach den from the balcony of my luxury apartment while we sip our $10,000 champagne. We'll be so high up above you, your pitiful excuse of an apartment will look like nothing more than a piece of garbage. Oh, did I tell you our $10,000 champagne will contain specks of gold dust? I know you couldn't possibly imagine what it's like to indulge in such sophisticated extravagance. But hopefully these messages aren't making you too jealous. Oh, of course, if you're absolutely desperate to come to my New Year's party and find out how the chosen few live, you need to get rid of that stench of poverty you radiate by moving up in the world until you make at least $100K a year. Only then will I consider sending you an invite. What on earth do you think you're playing at, Monica? Why would you come to my New Year's party? I made it very clear you weren't welcome. Why would you go out of the way to bug me over messages when we're at the same party? If you have a problem with me, come and say it to my face, Roxanne. That doesn't answer my question. What does a poverty-stricken loser like you think she's doing at a party of a CEO's wife? Anyway, what gives you the right to let yourself into my apartment like this? The roof of this building is a sacred place for the upper crust of society, life's winners like me. Poor people don't belong here, and you're not welcome. Think you had the nerve to bring your husband with you, too. I have no idea how you managed to get past security. But I'd rather you didn't stink out my luxury apartment with the rotten stench of your poverty. I'm going to have to spray some air freshener because of you. What a surprise that was! I genuinely have no idea how a broke loser like you ended up getting into my invite-only party, or what made you think you had the right to come in the first place, for that matter. I made it very clear you were only to come if you made more than $100K a year. That didn't give you any right to pour a bottle of champagne over my head. You unlawfully entered my apartment and you paid the price. I didn't do anything wrong. I was merely defending my property. Besides, I poured that bottle of champagne over your head out of kindness. Kindness? I figured if I could drench you in champagne, it might help get rid of the stench of poverty that follows you around wherever you go. But thanks to your illegal entry into my apartment, my luxury top-of-the-range Persian rug is covered in champagne now. I'll have you know that rug cost $7,000. If you don't compensate me for the damage you've done, I'll be forced to take extreme measures. Obviously, this should go without saying, but a cleaning won't do it. You've ruined the fabric forever, so you need to buy me a brand new rug. I know $7,000 probably amounts to a year's wages for the likes of a broke depth groveler like yourself. And I wouldn't be surprised if you even had to move out of your cockroach-infested apartment and live on the streets to come up with the money, but you should have thought about that before you spoiled my rug. Listen to me, Roxanne. You don't seem to be aware of this, but it was your husband who invited me and my husband. Huh? Initially, we were only supposed to be paying him a visit in his office on the second floor to make a few inquiries. But when we arrived, he told us he had some urgent business to attend to and apologetically invited us to wait for an hour upstairs in your apartment. He appeared to know that me and you are kindergarten acquaintances, so I guess he figured it'd make sense to invite me to your New Year's party to kill some time while he dealt with whatever stuff he had going on. He came up with us in the elevator, let us in, and showed us to the living room before disappearing off somewhere in a hurry. Huh? But what reason could you and your husband possibly have for visiting my husband's company? Your husband said he'd be messaging you about that. Huh? Haven't you heard anything from him? I don't know, maybe in a message or an email? Well, hold on, let me check. Oh my God, what in the Lord's name is happening? Monica, you're the president of my husband's company's biggest client company? What in the hell? How haven't I heard about this before? That's not all. What the hell are you doing living in a tiny ground floor apartment with a job like that? I thought you were broke. Excuse me? Let me get this straight. You thought I was poor because I live in a ground floor apartment? Who lives in ground floor apartments apart from broke losers? Everyone knows celebrities and successful people live on the top floor so they can look down on the peasants. Ah, I see. So that's why you went out of your way to get an apartment on the top floor, huh? Because in your mind, being that high up is the ultimate form of status symbol? What, are you saying it's not a status symbol? Of course, everyone's free to have their own ideas about the world. But I personally don't see any link between the altitude of someone's house and their value as a human being. And if I'm honest, I think that's a very shallow and superficial way of looking at the world. What the heck are you talking about? I did tell you this before, but my mother-in-law lives with me and my husband. She lives in a wheelchair, so it was a must that our place not have any stairs. That's why we bought the vacant house next door, had the second floors of both houses demolished, and had it converted into a big, spacious, barrier-free bungalow. Anyway, haven't you heard? Bungalows are in fashion these days. All the celebs and successful people are buying them. Oh my God, are they really? Hey, what's this crap I'm hearing about you terminating your contract with my husband's company? I take it your husband explained the situation to you then? My contract with your husband's company is terminated with immediate effect. Oh my God, I can't believe you're doing this just because I poured a bottle of champagne over your head as a joke. You have no right to drag my husband into this. This crosses the line.
No way. Do you think that's the only reason I'm doing this?
Huh? But my husband just called. He was furious. He said this was all happening because of my rude attitude at the New Year's party and that I had to apologize to you immediately.
Listen, Roxanne, I'm not going to pretend you pouring a bottle of champagne over my head in front of everyone at your New Year's party has nothing to do with the contract termination.
You mean there's another reason?
I don't know how your husband explained it to you, but the reason me and my husband visited your husband's office on the second floor was to notify him we were terminating the contract. It was already decided at that point.
What?
I don't know how much of this I should tell you, since as far as I'm aware, you don't have anything to do with the management of your husband's company. But to summarize, I got sick of his failure to meet deadlines, the constant issues with quality when shipments did arrive, and not to mention the horrendous attitude his employees gave me when I tried raising the issues with them. He and his company have been impossible to work with these last 6 months, and it reached the point where I simply couldn't overlook it anymore because it was interfering with our ability to provide quality to our customers. If I'd let it continue, I am almost certain it would have had knock-on effects for our reputation and revenues. After lengthy discussions with my husband, who's responsible for client meetings, and other executives within our company, I decided we had no choice but to terminate the contract. To be honest, I had already made up my mind, but there was a small chance I'd have been willing to negotiate with your husband if he showed sincerity in wanting to improve. Until you poured champagne over my head, that is. With that, I resolved to wash my hands of the both of you for good.
Oh my God. Wait, hang on a second. No way. Oh, surely all this stuff with my husband is just business. Why throw away our friendship too? Now I know you're rich and successful and that me and you are on the same level. We can grow closer than ever before.
The same level as you?
I get that you might be upset with my husband's company, but why throw away a friendship in the process? It seems like such a waste. Won't you rethink this, please, Monica?
I can't say I was ever the type to link people's value as human beings to how much money they have, but I know that you take great pleasure in it. Which is why you should know that once your husband loses this contract, which accounts for over 80% of his sales, the future of his company probably isn't gonna look so bright.
What?
I advise you to consider the implications of that before talking to him.
Monica, could you please lend me some money?
Say what now?
I'm sure you've already heard, but my husband's company went bankrupt.
Yeah, I may have heard a thing or two about that.
Well, this means we're not going to be able to carry on living in this luxury high-rise apartment.
You mean you're not going to be able to keep up with the rent?
Yes. My husband's unemployed after his company went bankrupt, so he has to start from scratch and find a new job. Which is why I'd really appreciate if you could lend me just enough to cover the rent on this apartment.
How about you just move somewhere more appropriate for your level of income instead of begging for money? Your husband's parents are looking after your son right now, right? So you either need to ask really nicely and hope one of your parents will let you move in with them until you get back on your feet, or if that doesn't work out, find a new job with a company that provides employee accommodation.
No, I can't do that. Me? Work a job? Oh my God. It's not right that a woman of my status should have to associate with the peasants and work a normal person job. My status demands that I live on the top floor. Sure, I might have lost my title as CEO's wife, but that's just all the more reason I can't afford to lose this high-rise apartment.
Listen, Roxanne, the thing is...
You're going to lend me some money?
Have you taken a shower lately?
Huh?
Do you wash your clothes?
What the hell kind of questions are these?
A close friend of mine lives in the same apartment block as you, but she told me that every time she walks past the housewife from the top floor, she has to hold her nose because she smells so bad. She said she gets the impression you're trying to cover up the smell by drenching your entire body in perfume.
She says the smell resembles something like a mixture of your natural body odor and something that can only be described as not belonging to this world.
Oh my God, do I smell that bad?
Yes, you really smell that bad. Apparently the smell is so awful that the company managing the apartments are currently in the process of writing up their claim against you because of the distress your stench is causing the rest of the residents.
No, it's not me. They're mistaking me for someone else.
That's funny, because when I asked her for your room number, she gave me yours.
No, there has to be some kind of mistake.
I really think you should do something about this, Roxanne, and sooner rather than later.
No, I do not smell.
I did wonder for a second whether the culprit behind the rotten stench might be Roxanne's husband, but it turned out that by that point, he'd already moved back in with his parents who lived 10 minutes away, which meant that the only one left behind in that foul-smelling room was Roxanne, all alone and with nothing left but her wounded pride. As for why the place smelled so bad, I found out later that the utilities got cut as a result of their failure to pay the rent, which in the middle of the summer in a place this hot is never going to end well. Even in spite of that, Roxanne, whose sense of self-esteem seemed entirely dependent on her living on the top floor of a luxury apartment block, defiantly stayed behind for a short while despite receiving several eviction notices. Eventually, though, she lost her nerve and moved out. I don't know whether it was because of the constant complaints from the neighbors, but they must have been elated when they found out she was gone. With that, she moved in with her husband and his parents. In desperate need of cash, she was forced to get a part-time job at a nearby supermarket, which is where she now spends her days doing the bare minimum of work to get by while riddled with chronic self-esteem issues due to her intolerably putrescent body odor. Thanks for watching, folks. We hope you enjoyed the video. Don't forget to prove what a boss you are by liking and subscribing. Also, feel free to leave a comment about what you thought of the story. We can't wait to see you again next time.
Hey, Kayla, is now a good time to message? There's a little something I was hoping we could discuss.
Huh? Gaston? Sure, I'm free. What is it?
You're already in Washington for your business trip, right? Are you busy with work right now?
We got done with our client meeting way quicker than expected, and now we're just about to check into the hotel. I'll be writing up this week's revenue report when I get to my room, so I'll probably be occupied for a little while. What about you? Shouldn't you be at work yourself? Is something wrong?
This is bad. Apparently the company my brother Derek works for just went bankrupt.
Oh, bankrupt? Where the hell did that come from all of a sudden? So, what's going on, Gaston? How did this happen?
I know, right? He phoned me in a panic earlier on. I was so shocked, but I wanted to do anything I possibly could to help out since I'm his older brother. So I spoke with the boss and he let me dip out of work early just for today. I just got home, so I'm messaging you from the house.
What? You went out of your way to get off work early? What would that accomplish?
Well, listen to this. Here's the problem. Him and his wife were living in company-provided accommodation, and they received an eviction notice saying they had to be out as soon as possible because the company was no longer paying the rent. That's why I had to get away to help him.
Wow, I see. So his living circumstances were entirely dependent on his company? Damn, that sucks. I guess it makes sense that he'd have to move out if it was company accommodation, but damn, I had no idea.
First things first, I need to help them find somewhere else to stay until they get something longer term sorted out. Apparently his wife Lily is pregnant.
Whoa, for real?
He said they only found out the other day themselves. They planned on telling us around the 12th week when all of their tests came back, but the whole bankruptcy thing kinda threw a spanner in the works.
This is nuts. I can't believe he lost his job at a time like this. Talk about bad luck. His wife must be beside herself with worry.
Right? Anyway, I had an idea. I've decided to give my brother and his wife our house.
Huh? What did you just say? By our house, do you mean the house we live in? Don't you mean you're going to let them live with us temporarily until they find somewhere else?
No, I mean I'm literally going to give it to them. I don't know if I can make it any simpler. I mean, I'm going to hand the house over to them. Like, they're going to be its rightful owners, and we're going to move out.
Are you being serious right now?
Of course I'm being serious. Do I look like the kind of guy who jokes about things like this? I have to do everything I possibly can for my little brother in his time of need.
I get that Derek's in trouble, and I get that as his big brother, you want to be there to help him out, and I think that's admirable. I really do. But I don't understand how you go from that to giving our house to him and his wife. You do understand that makes us homeless, right? Where are we supposed to go? My parents aren't around anymore, which means we'll have nowhere to go and we'll pretty much have to get to work on finding a new house from scratch. I am struggling to understand your reasoning here, Gaston. Would you help me out on this one? If we're going to go out of our way to look for a house, surely it'd make more sense to look for one for Derek and his wife rather than causing ourselves a bunch of unnecessary upheaval. I get that losing his job means he won't have any money coming in, so I'm more than happy for us to help him out with the rent if that's what it takes to get him out of this pinch.
We're gonna go live with my mom and dad.
Excuse me?
Yep, don't worry, babe. I already messaged my mom and got permission for us to stay there.
Your mom and dad's house? You do realize they live 2 hours away, right?
Yeah, but my workplace is on the halfway point between here and there, which means it won't impact my commute at all. See? No problem.
But what about me? What am I supposed to do? My workplace is 10 minutes away from our house. Are you saying I have to commute 2 hours to work every day?
So what? Just quit your job and find another one near my folks' place. Jeez, quit making such a big deal out of everything, you big drama queen.
What?
This is a genius plan when you think about it. Derek and his wife don't have to go through the trouble of finding a new place, and we get to live with my mom and dad. You know, I actually amaze myself with how smart I am sometimes.
Smart? That is not the word I would have chosen. Ugh. Don't screw around like this, Gaston, because it's not funny.
Huh?
Why should I have to give up my house for your brother? Are you forgetting that it belongs to me in the first place? It's my frickin' name on the deed. It's not yours to give away.
Your house? What are you talking about? Who the heck do you think you're speaking to, woman? I'm the man of this house, and that is not the kind of tone I expect from you. How about you quit being so selfish and start putting others first for once in your life?
Selfish?
Yeah, you heard me, selfish. You're my wife, and it's your job to do as I damn well tell ya. That's the plan, and it's a damn good one.
No, it is not. It's not okay for you to just hand over my house to someone else, especially without even asking me first. I mean, come on, it doesn't matter if he's your brother or not. It's still my property we're talking about here. You can't just make decisions like that without considering how it affects me, Gaston. It's not fair, and honestly, it's kind of hurtful.
God damn it, why do you have to be so stubborn? If you resist me on this one, I'll just divorce you.
Wow, are you serious? You're really gonna bring divorce into this?
If you don't like it, quit defying me and accept that we're giving the goddamn house to my brother. I'll be done packing our stuff together by the day after tomorrow when you get back from your business trip, so make sure you hand in your resignation by then, okay? We're starting a new chapter here, babe, and I want us both to be fully committed on it.
Do not touch my things. I'll get my stuff together myself.
Fine, have it your way. I take it that means you're at least on board with the move now, then? Ha! I guess there is a brain in there somewhere.
I came back to the house from my business trip to get my things together, but I knew something wasn't right as soon as I arrived. Gaston, what the hell do you think you're playing at? What are your brother Derek and his wife doing in our house?
Duh, what did you expect? I told you we were giving them the place. I left so they could move in.
I can't believe I'm even having to ask you this, but did you already move your stuff to your mom and dad's place?
Of course, all my stuff is there already. It didn't take as much work as I expected. As for your things, I didn't touch them, just like you asked. But as of today, that house belongs to Derek and his wife, which means you need to get your things together and get out as soon as possible. If it's too much for you to do on your own, I'm happy to help.
I won't be needing you to do that, because I'm not moving in the first place.
Huh? You better be joking. You already agreed to the move.
No, I did not.
Huh?
Why should I have to move out of my own house?
Because I told you to. We're giving it to my brother and his wife in their time of need, like I already told you. Oh, and you need to make sure you leave behind all of the furniture and household appliances. Their old company accommodation came with everything included, so they didn't have anything to bring with them. So don't you dare try running off with the toaster or washing machine. I felt bad for them, so I decided to give them not only the house itself, but everything in it.
Maybe I didn't make it clear enough before.
Make what clear enough?
The fact that this is my house and you have no right to give it away?
God damn it, Kayla, are you still harping on about this crap? Quit dreaming. You're in fantasy land.
All right, let me rephrase it. It was me who inherited this house. Does that help? Do you understand now?
Huh?
The house and the land it's built on used to belong to my dad. In fact, it even goes earlier than that because it was passed down through generations until my dad's day. And when he passed away, I inherited it. If my memory serves me correctly, this house has been in my family for over 100 years.
Huh?
For God's sake, Gaston, do you still not understand? What else can I even say at this point? When my dad, who was the legal owner of the house and whose name was written on the deed, passed away, ownership was transferred to me, which means now it's mine.
Holy crap, what did you just say?
Anyway, have you even thought this through? Who's been paying fixed asset taxes on the place this whole time? It certainly wasn't you. So what makes you think you have the right to give it away to whomever you see fit? How about city planning taxes? Go on. Why don't you tell me who pays them? It's okay. I'll wait. If you still don't believe me, how about I show you the deed, or the ownership registration certificate, or my dad's last will and testament, or the inheritance tax forms? Would that help you to understand? My name is clearly written under the owner section on all of them.
Are you for real?
That's my line. I have no idea how you could make a misunderstanding of such epic proportions. You knew my parents lived in this house when they were alive, so what would make you think it belonged to you in the first place? My mom passed away back when I was in high school. As for my dad, he joined her a few years later, at which point I inherited everything, what with being their only child and all. It doesn't take a legal genius to understand there's no situation in which you could possibly inherit a house from my parents.
Oh, I see.
What's that supposed to mean? Are we finally making progress here?
To be honest, I never really gave it much thought.
Huh?
So listen, babe, you have my surname, right? What with us being married and all? Which means the surname on the door plate is also mine. The surname on the mail is mine, and the surname we use whenever we apply for things related to the house is also mine. When you look at it that way, everything points to the house belonging to me.
There's just one tiny problem with that, Gaston. Legal ownership of a house isn't decided by how things look from the outside. It's decided by law.
I didn't know that.
Jesus, Gaston. All right. I don't think there's much point in continuing this conversation any further. I just wanted to give you a heads up. I'm going to be dropping off those signed divorce papers you left on the kitchen table. I noticed you were thoughtful enough to leave them out for me, so thanks for that.
What?
I'm actually on my way to hand them in as we speak.
But why?
I'm guessing you left them behind as a threat to try and bully me into changing my mind about the house and agreeing to move with you and let your brother and his wife have the place. Unfortunately for you, I never had any intention of moving whatsoever, so I'm more than happy to divorce.
No, don't do it. Will you change your mind if I kick my brother out and come back?
If only life was so simple, huh? I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but Derek told me all about you and your mom's plan.
What? What plan? I don't know about any plan. Nope, not me. I'm totally in the dark here.
Drop the act, Gaston. You know your mom has never liked me, and she wanted to use this whole thing as an opportunity to force me into living with her so she could boss me around and use me as her own personal slave. I heard you guys also both quit your jobs in anticipation of me coming and taking over the rent payments to support you both so you could laze around the house all day.
Holy crap. Derek told you all that? What the hell does that idiot think he's doing? Hang on a sec. How does he even know?
Apparently he overheard you and your mom plotting on the phone. If you don't mind, I think I'll pass on being tricked into living with your slave-driving mother so she can bully and abuse me until she's too old to do it anymore. I also have no intention of financially supporting her or her lazy, good-for-nothing, jobless loser of a son. So if I were you, I'd probably start looking for work again soon. I've never heard of anyone quitting their job for such an absurd reason. Talk about going off someone. I wouldn't stay married to a loser like you even if you paid me to. Anyway, if you'll excuse me, I have some divorce papers to hand in.
Kayla, no!
Bye.
Kayla? What the heck's happening here? Kayla!
Oh, hi, Gaston. It's been a while. What do you want?
Why are my brother Derek and his family living in your house? I just saw him through the window and his kids out playing on the lawn. I thought you said you weren't going to give it to him. This isn't fair.
I didn't give them it. They're renting it.
Huh? Renting? What do you mean they were renting? Explain yourself now.
It was all agreed on around the time of the divorce. It was just like you said. They genuinely were struggling and needed a helping hand, so at first I decided to let them stay for free for a short while. After a few weeks, Derek found a new job, which meant he could finally start paying rent again. He found him and his wife a place with a cheap realtor that does monthly contracts, and after about a month, they moved out of my house. Not long after that, I was told by my boss that I was being transferred to another branch out of state.
Huh? You got a job transfer?
Yep. With that, I decided to put my house up on the rental market, and when I did, apparently Derek and his wife saw it online when they were looking for something longer term, so they reached out to me. Since I know and trust them, and since they're actually sane and reliable, unlike you, I decided to take it off the realtor site and rent it to them directly. I had them sign a contract, and, well, that's pretty much it. So that's what happened, and that's why they've been living there all this time.
Holy crap, are you being serious?
So tell me, Gaston, what exactly do you want? Why are you bothering me after all this time?
You see, the thing is, my mom got involved in a pretty serious accident, and it turns out she's going to be spending the rest of her life in a wheelchair. Of course, that means she needs full-time care, and, well, I just can't do it on my own. It's a really tough situation, and I feel overwhelmed trying to figure out how to manage everything. I want to be there for her because she's my mom, but it's a lot more than I can handle alone.
Wow, you mean you're messaging me after all this time to try and convince me to give things with you another shot? Because your mom's in a wheelchair?
Yup, exactly. So what do you say, baby? How about me and you give things another go? Let's rekindle the flame of our romance, Kayla.
Our romance is deader than Jeffrey Epstein, and it didn't kill itself. No way.
What the hell? Why not?
I was made abundantly aware of how much your mom dislikes me, which is why I went out of my way to avoid her as much as humanly possible. I guess that's why she felt like she had to resort to underhanded measures to trick me into living with her. Because she knew damn well I'd never agree to it otherwise. I always had my doubts about your mom, but when I found out what a selfish, domineering asshole you were, I completely lost all hope in you, too. I would have had to have been out of my mind to move in with a pair of maniacs like you. Anyway, I live ages away in a different state now. Not that I'm going to tell you which one. Remember the work transfer I told you about? Well, it looks like I won't be coming back to Michigan for a long time.
Holy mother of God. Wait a sec. Are you telling me I have to deal with my mom all by myself?
Huh? Oh, of course. How silly of me to forget. Your brother Derek and his wife disowned you, didn't they? Based on what I've heard, he was pretty furious when he heard you were trying to use him and his wife as a tool to get me to go and live with your mom. He washed his hands of the both of you, didn't he? It's nice to know not everyone in your family has a personality disorder.
You heard about that? Well, that was,
Anyway, me and you are complete strangers now, so I'd really appreciate if you never messaged me again for the rest of your life. Quit trying to drag me into your family's bullshit, okay?
Oh my God, wait! Listen, Kayla, please. I'm actually outside your house with my wheelchair-bound mom right now. I was hoping you'd be able to take us both in and care for her, starting today. Do you have any idea how much I paid on transport fees? It's not easy to move someone in a wheelchair, you know? You used to be her daughter-in-law, for God's sakes, Kayla. Have you no heart? Please, there must be something you can do for us.
But I'm not her daughter-in-law anymore, am I? If you'll excuse me, I have a Zoom meeting with a company from Sweden in a minute. Goodbye forever.
Kayla! Baby! No!
After the divorce, Gaston moved in with his mom and found another job. However, when his mom had her accident, he found it impossible to juggle work and caring for her. So he had no choice but to hand in his resignation after just a few months. Apparently, they live on food stamps and disability support now, and things aren't going great for them. They're pretty much on the breadline, and every day is a struggle. I'm guessing he remembered my house had a barrier-free support. Unfortunately for him, I'm not such a pushover that I'd forgive the jerk who tried forcing me to give away my house as part of a ploy to trick me into moving in with his psycho mom. Thankfully, he couldn't track me down since I moved out of state for my work transfer. To add insult to injury, he arrived to find his little brother Derek and his wife, both of whom had disowned him, living in the barrier-free house he so desperately wanted to get his hands on. Derek said he couldn't be happier to see his wayward older brother and deranged mother get their just desserts. Caring for an elderly disabled woman can't be easy, but if there's anyone who deserves to do it all on his own in abject misery, it's Gaston. Thanks for watching, folks. We hope you enjoyed the video. Don't forget to prove what a boss you are by liking and subscribing. Also, feel free to leave a comment about what you thought of the story. We can't wait to see you again next time.
Thank you for watching. Please subscribe and hit the like button. See you next time.